We are back in the man cave. It is so good to be home. I've been frolicking all over the globe. If you've been watching this channel over the past few months, you'll have seen me hunting in Patagonia with Claudio Flores. We hunted some beavers, we hunted some rabbits. It was an awesome adventure. You will have seen me in Norway. I went to check out the GRS rifle stocks factory, see how they make the stocks and visit the guys there. I then went to Sweden. I went to visit FX. I then went to Germany to the IWA trade show and reported on some of the new products that have hit our industry recently. That was fantastic. Had a lot of fun there. And then basically as soon as I got back home to South Africa, I went straight out on a hunting trip up in the Karoo, which is an area about 2 or 3 hours north of where I live. I met up with some long range hunting enthusiasts and we hunted a lot. We probably shot about 15 or 20 animals over a space of 5 or 6 days. Got some awesome footage, so I'll be editing that over the next few weeks and we'll be putting that up. You're going to really enjoy that, I think. That's very cool. But for now, I've finally had some time to kind of relax a bit and look at everything in perspective. And it's been a rough few months. There's been a lot of stuff happening on YouTube, a lot of channels taken down. YouTube's policies have tightened up. There's been some censorship happening. A lot of people have been asking, you know, what's the future of gun-related channels, even air gun-related channels on YouTube? And we're going to address that a little bit later in the video. We're going to discuss, you know, what's been happening in the industry, what's been happening with YouTube, look at the way forward. But before we get to that, we do have some new stuff to talk about. This is a gear update. This is, I think, gear update number 7, and we have a new ScopeCam made by RusBear in Russia. And it's something maybe not unique because it's kind of a combination of stuff that's already been done before, but it works very well. It's extremely practical. It may not necessarily replace some of the existing ScopeCam setups, but it's definitely got a place. So let's take a look at this quickly. We've got something that looks kind of similar to the side shot in terms of the way it works. I've done a gear update on the side shot before. Essentially, it's this fits over the back of your scope like all ScopeCam setups do. However, it's got a one-way glass mirror that reflects light up into the camera. So that allows you to look through the scope as you normally would, and you know, adjust the parallax like you normally would and shoot like you normally would, but it reflects half the light up into the camera and allows you to film like that. It has a number of distinct advantages that we will look at over the existing ScopeCam setups that we normally use. But what makes this one unique if you compare it to the side shot? Okay, well, the big thing is that while the side shot is made for use with smartphones, you know, you can see that big smartphone mount over there where you'd fit your smartphone. This one works with an action camera that's kind of built into it. It's a very, very purpose-built scope camera setup. And I, at first, was a bit skeptical about this because all action cameras I know have a wide-angle lens. And the problem with a wide-angle lens is that you can't get the correct, you know, if you put it at the right eye relief from the scope, the actual field of view of the scope is right in the middle of the camera. It's really small. And if you digitally zoom in on that, you lose a lot of image quality. So I kind of wrote off the idea of using a action camera as a scope camera setup. And then this one came along and I noticed that the RusBear ScopeCam, the action camera that's in here, it actually has, it's fitted with a telephoto lens, which you don't have with most action cameras. And this is really, really unique and it works very, very well. So it's kind of the best of both worlds in that you've got the side shot kind of setup where you can look through the scope as you normally would, but you get the advantage of having a compact camera on top that can film in high quality, better quality than you get from a smartphone. The reason for that is that a smartphone, you have to digitally zoom in. Most smartphone lenses are fairly wide angle as well. This one is already zoomed in. It's got a really good lens on it. So you're sorted. All you have to do is press record and you're done. And it does actually come with a remote. Where did I put the remote now? Here it is. So you can actually strap this remote to the front of your rifle, have it by your finger, and before you take the shot, you hit record, you'll hear a little beep from the camera to say it's recording, and you know that you can use the gun as normal, but you've got the shot on camera, which is absolutely fantastic. I took this camera out about a few days ago. I fitted it to my 22-250, which is a centerfire rifle. It's a gun that you have to, that recoils quite a lot. You've got to have it against your shoulder. You've got to have a consistent hold so that you can manage your recoil properly. And I tested it with that gun and it worked perfectly. I was able to get those shots perfectly on camera. It worked really well, and that opens up a whole new world for me because I've now got a ScopeCam that I can use on my centerfire rifles. Maybe not on my 260 or on bigger rifles because I might bash my eye against this, but on a smaller rifle like the 22-250, it works, which is fantastic. How is this different to side shot in terms of pros and cons? Well, an immediate disadvantage as opposed to the side shot is that the side shot is made in a way that you can remove it easily and put it back on and it works flawlessly. You don't have to readjust it. Whereas this mount, it removes with Allen keys and then you've got to reset it every time you put it on. So it is time consuming to set it up. That is a big negative. I do like the fact that the side shot can be taken on and off easily, and that is a plus in terms of the mount system. However, the one problem I had with the side shot is that using my smartphone with this mount was not ideal for me. First of all, because I've got a big iPhone 7 Plus. It's a really big device to have attached to your gun. And the iPhone 7 Plus has a optical image stabilizer which makes the sensor free to move. And that was a problem with this setup because when I took a shot, even a little bit of recoil you get from a 22 caliber air gun was enough to make the picture really shake when I took the shot, and the footage did not come out as I would have liked. However, if you've got a smaller smartphone that would work better with this kind of setup, and you don't want to go buying a whole new action camera for your ScopeCam setup, then this is a really good option. And another decent option would be this Discovery, I think it's called Discovery ScopeCam setup, which also allows you to fit your your smartphone and use that as a ScopeCam. So that's really cool. Then let's compare this to the classic Sony RX100 and Eagle Vision setup. Will this replace my Eagle Vision setup? No, it will not. It's horses for courses. This one has a specific advantage in that this is way more practical to use once it's set up. However, it does not match the quality of the Sony RX100. This camera has a much better processor, much better sensor, better lenses on it. It's a much better camera, and it's much faster and easier to fit to a gun, faster to focus. So this would be my go-to camera for something that I need a really high frame rate for. This can do 1,000 frames a second at better quality than this one can do 200 frames a second. So in terms of pure quality, this one is much better. It looks straight through the scope. There's no reflecting off a mirror, so you don't lose light, you don't lose quality. However, for if I'm going to go out the whole day with one gun and I've got time to set this one up and I need something that's going to be practical, or I need to shoot with my centerfire rifles and get it on camera, this is going to be the one I'm going to use. So the one will not replace the other. It's horses for courses. It's going to be whichever one is better suited for a specific situation. So that's the ScopeCam setup. I'll put links down below so you can take a look at the RusBear's ScopeCam, and I'll put links to the Eagle Vision and the RX100 so you can take a look at that as well, and the side shot if you want to look at that. But moving on, we've done the gear review section of this, some really cool stuff, and you'll see more of it in the future, absolutely. But we've got something hectic to talk about, and I know you all want to hear about this because it was something that really rocked our world as the airgun community, as the YouTube community. And that was this whole thing that happened a few months ago with YouTube just wiping out a whole bunch of channels. You will have seen me talk about this on my Facebook page, and you will have seen me delete a whole bunch of videos, probably a year's worth of videos, 70 plus videos from my channel, in an attempt to save myself from being wiped out. And this story doesn't start a few months ago when this happened. The story starts last year when YouTube announced their demonetization policy. Basically what happened was YouTube was under pressure from advertisers to, the advertisers were unhappy that their adverts were showing on videos like, let's say, an ISIS terrorist in the Middle East executing somebody, and there was an advert being shown on front. I understand that the advertisers were unhappy with their adverts being shown on those kind of videos. But YouTube's response, the only way that they could make them happy was to introduce algorithms which detected which videos had violent content or gun-related content. So YouTube is able to detect, I don't know, the word gun, the word shoot, certain titles, maybe even certain thumbnails that depict certain things, and they decided that anything that was controversial they would deem to be not suitable for monetization. So I woke up one day and I saw that probably 2/3, maybe a bit less than 2/3, maybe just over a half of my videos suddenly had a yellow emblem next to them, a yellow $sign, which basically means that not suitable for all advertisers. And I watched my income drop by probably about, I was probably earning about between a fifth and a tenth of what I was earning before. So it was a significant drop in my earnings, and I had to make a plan. I started a Patreon account, which allows you guys to donate to my channel. That's still running, and that has been fantastic, guys. That has helped so much. It's allowed me to basically cover what I've lost through the demonetization policy. And although a lot of my videos since that point have now been, I've appealed them and they've been said to be suitable for monetization, so it is a little bit better than it was. It's still at the point where I'm still not earning as much as I was earning prior to this demonetization thing. So for those of you that are supporting me on Patreon and PayPal, thank you so much. It has helped me so much. It has made me appreciate my viewers a lot more, and I'm going to make an attempt to keep giving you guys special content. So you guys that have been supporting me on Patreon, you will see that if you go on Patreon and you've pledged some kind of amount, even a small amount, $1 a month or something, to keep my channel going, you'll see that you have access to special content. So I've made some behind the scenes footage that basically allows you to see how I made the Patagonia series, the Volkswagen Diary series. There's kind of special content there that only you guys can see, and I'm going to keep kind of rewarding people who support me in that way. But please don't feel pressure. Another result of the demonetization thing was that I did reach out to a lot of the companies that make the products that I've been using for a really long time, products that I already like, and they have agreed to support me financially on this channel. This is my only job. I don't have another job like a lot of you think. So I rely fully on YouTube to basically pay for my living expenses, my food, everything. So it's been really great. It was a blessing in disguise, actually, the demonetization thing, because it made me realize that I need to have a plan B, and it forced me to reach out to manufacturers that make the stuff that I use and say, guys, I really need your help. And so we are going well now. It is working out. So thank you to everyone who supported me, and we are going to keep going by the looks of things. But anyway, moving on from the demonetization thing, because that's not the serious issue here. Even if I had no money backing me, I would probably still be making some video content. It wouldn't be like we have here, but it would be something. The big issue was something that happened a few months ago. Basically, I went online the one morning and I noticed Airguns of Arizona's channel was gone. A lot of other airgun channels were just gone completely, not on YouTube anymore. And I couldn't understand what was happening. I went onto the forums and I realized that guys were saying YouTube had basically just wiped out their channels overnight. Channels were getting triple struck. If you get 3 strikes on YouTube, if you violate YouTube's terms of service 3 times, they can wipe you out. And guys were getting struck so quickly that they didn't even have time to appeal. Their channels got removed. Then guys like Giles Barry, who have never done anything that's even vaguely controversial on their channels. Giles has never made a hunting video, never made a video that's violent. His channel got removed, just gone, deleted. Next thing I know, I've got a strike on my channel, and YouTube deleted the video that I got a strike on. So when I tried to appeal, they said, oh, sorry, the video doesn't exist anymore. We can't review it, but your strike still stands. So I'm sitting with a strike on my channel that I can do nothing about. Anyway, it got to the point where I feared so much for the existence of my channel that I actually, before going to bed one night, I took a screenshot of my channel homepage. Not sure if when I woke up the next morning whether it'd still be there. You can imagine how scary that is. I've worked on this channel for probably about 6 or 7 years. even the thought of it, of all my years of work being wiped out overnight, is terrifying. And the hardest part was trying to contact someone at YouTube and not being able to do so. It was really scary. But it seems like a lot of that stuff came right. It came out that YouTube had employed about 10,000, I think it was, new employees who just basically took the law into their own hands. I think they must have typed in SHOT Show, because SHOT Show videos seem to be the first videos that got wiped out, and the channels that did SHOT Show report backs were the first channels to get completely deleted. Anyway, these guys took the law into their own hands. They completely disregarded what YouTube deemed to be acceptable or not, and they just, you know, started deleting stuff left, right, and center. And eventually YouTube apologized, and a lot of the channels that got wiped out or were attacked were reinstated. However, it doesn't mean we're safe yet. It's just the start. This whole censorship thing with gun violence, it's been a talking point that's been all over social media. You go on Facebook, you will see discussions about gun violence and should certain guns be allowed, should they not be allowed, do the laws need to change? And this is just fueling hatred for guns and a rivalry that is just going to end up in something being censored. So, are we safe? I do not know. YouTube released a new set of firearm policies. I'm going to read some of them to you now. I know that you'll say air guns aren't firearms, but who knows how they're going to look at this. They might decide that a gun is a gun, even an airsoft gun is resembling a firearm. I don't know how it's going to work, but here are the policies. I'll read them to you. YouTube prohibits certain kinds of content featuring firearms. Specifically, we don't allow content that intends to sell firearms or certain firearms accessories through direct sales or links to sites that sell these items. So what happens if I link to a site that sells an FX Wildcat but also sells a AR-15? Does that mean that I can't link to that site? And if so, how's that going to affect my relationship with sponsors that sponsor my channel? If I link, I don't know, my scope camera to Amazon, and Amazon sells, I don't know, a conversion kit to turn a semi-automatic firearm into a fully automatic firearm, does YouTube deem that to be linking to a site that sells those products? I do not know. It's not clear enough at this point. Next point, provides instructions on manufacturing a firearm, ammunition, high-capacity magazine, homemade silencers / suppressors, or certain firearm accessories listed as such as those are listed above. So I don't know. That's kind of vague to me. Manufacturing ammunition, does that mean reloading series is not going to be allowed? I might have to delete the reloading videos, my reloading series that I was planning to do on this channel. That would be really unfortunate, but it looks like that may be something that I'll have to do. The side shot magazine, it's just an airgun magazine, but is that going to be determined to be a high capacity magazine? I do not know. The fact that certain airguns are seen as firearms in certain countries, that may be a reason for YouTube to censor airgun related videos. And even if it is only the firearm stuff, that affects me as well, since I've been doing some firearms videos on my channel. So we'll have to just wait and see how this affects my channel. To be cautious, I'm probably going to take down my introduction to reloading video that I did a few months back, just to be safe. If it's clear after that reloading is not a problem, then I'll probably put that video back up and continue with reloading series. But at this point, I need to be cautious because I already have a strike against my channel, and I would rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather have my channel feature some less hectic stuff going forward than to take the risk of having my channel completely removed. That would not benefit any of us. So we'll have to just see how things go. But for now, just going to carry on with the way things are, but just be very, very cautious. So what does the future hold? For the time being, I'm going to focus a lot on the airgun stuff. Obviously, I've got the Wildcat Mark 1 here that I've been using for a while. I'm hoping to get my hands on a Wildcat Mark 2 fairly soon. I'm probably going to do a video just discussing the minor differences between the Mark 1 and the Mark 2 and why you might want to consider looking at a Wildcat Mark 2. The FX Streamline is coming out soon, so I'm hoping to get my hands on that and talk about that gun, because that's really going to be revolutionary. You know how much I love the Impact and the Crown. That's basically an Impact or a Crown, but for a much cheaper price. So that's going to be a game changer for a lot of us. Daystate Red Wolf, I'd really be keen to look at the Red Wolf. It'll be the first time I'll look at electronic gun, but I really like the look and feel of the Red Wolf, so I'd like to look at that. And what else do I have? So those are the reviews I'm going to be looking at. I've got that hunting series I was talking about. Went hunting, did some long range hunting with the centerfire rifles. Going to be putting that up soon. That'll be really cool. I've got the Huntex trade show in Johannesburg. That's in a couple of weeks time. I'm going to be heading up there to cover some of the products that are there. And I do also have a second channel I'd like to mention for those of you who don't know about it. It's just called Matt Dubber. It features my content that is not necessarily gun related, and maybe even some stuff that is gun related. I do have some gun related stuff being put on there, but I will put a link to that down in the video description. Check it out, subscribe to that. You're not going to want to miss out on some of the stuff that I show there. I've got some cool travel vlogs, and you get some insight into my life that you don't get to see on this channel. So take a look at that. And I'm going to end this video with a poll or a survey. I've been thinking of doing some merch for quite some time, you know, some caps and t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that. I just not really sure if there's interest or not. I don't know if you guys would be willing to spend money on stuff like that. It's a nice practical way forward, because it's a way of supporting me that you actually get something out of other than videos. So I'm going to put a poll up this side or that side, anyway, one of the sides, wherever the poll goes up. And I just want to hear, would you guys be willing to spend money on Air Arms Hunting South Africa t-shirts? I've got a sister who's a graphics designer. She's got some fantastic ideas for t-shirts and stuff. If you'd be willing to spend money on merch like that, then let me know. It would be a great idea, I think, going forward. I just want to know if there's interest in it. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time. But so we'll take a look at that. And that's where I'm going to end this one, guys. Thank you for listening through all the drama. I hope I've clarified what's been happening over YouTube over the past few months. And I hope that this RusBear's ScopeCam is something that you enjoyed looking at. It's a really interesting piece of kit. I'll put a link to this down below so you can check it out. And yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. I'll see you next time. It's like the most generic ending of any video. I need to come up with a new ending.